Guess what, guys? We don't just do iPhones. We also offer Samsung and among many other models. This is an S21 FE, so we don't see a lot of these, so I had to order this display for the customer, but this was just mainly a data recovery. They broke the display all the way through. They got a new phone, but they want the information off of this, plus maybe use it as a backup. So it is going to probably be used, maybe slightly. To replace the screen on these, if it's fully broken, basically take the back off and then remove all the screws in the cover there, and that's also a wireless charging unit. Once you remove all those screws, just disconnect everything that's connected to the main board, like little Lego pop connectors. They're missing the SIM tray. I think they know that. Don't know how, where it's at, but I can get them one if needed, but it's not with the phone currently. Little daughter board. There was 3 screws in it. Like always, Samsung always likes to put screws in the daughter board and the motherboard itself. So always look out for that, because there is generally screws in both the top and the bottom of the boards. Just pry up on it a little bit. Once you get the screws out on this model, it'll come right out. Some of them are glued down a little harder than these. This one's not glued down hardly at all on most of these items. The one item I felt like was in here really hard was the battery. Did not need to be in so crazy hard. But all the little small parts, as you can see, just a little bit of alcohol and heat will get them up pretty easy. I did this, I edited this video down a little bit, but I did this and I was interrupted a couple times by the mail walking in and the cat. So, but it was 20 minutes total, so not bad at all as far as time goes. It probably could be 15 if I was not interrupted a couple times. But these little small parts, again, just a little heat, little alcohol, they come right up. Cameras, don't go crazy on alcohol, just a tiny bit around the edge. But only use 99%. If you use stuff like from the drugstore, you're going to ruin your phone. It's got too much water in it. It needs to be 99%. There's the old screen. You can see it's busted all the way through to the OLED. And here's our replacement. Just going to remove the backing tape here. You'd be surprised how many shops don't remove the backing tape on anything, on screens, on batteries. I open up iPhones all the time with stickers and all kinds of stuff on them. I'm just going to reconnect all this stuff to the board and put it back in the new frame. A few of the cameras. There's 3 cameras, I believe, a front camera, a couple back cameras. And then the ear speaker and stuff is actually connected to the wireless charging coil. We're going to just reconnect everything back to the board, just how it was in the other frame, just with the new frame. Because on these we changed the whole frame and everything. We don't just swap a screen in there. If you try to swap the screen, it's really hard to get these to glue down perfectly sometimes. And most of the suppliers, they come with the frame, so just spend the extra $2 or $3 and get the frame. It's a lot easier, a lot better. Don't forget to put the screw back in the motherboard and in the daughter board. There's 3 that go in the daughter board, 1 that go in the top board on this particular model. Your antenna's going back in, got a couple of those. They screw directly into the bottom antenna. The top one, it's the plastic cover. It screws through that into there. And then just put back the battery, the daughter board, the screws that go into the daughter board, and reconnect your cables. And the nice thing, I do like Samsung labels these cables sub and main, so you know it's the sub board, what's going to plug into the sub board and what's going to plug into the main board. Just plug everything back in. I think I got those mixed up a little. Flip them around. Bam, there we go. So last thing I plug in is your the back end is the battery, because that's the last thing that you don't want to be plugging all this stuff in and have any charge going through it. I think this phone's dead, as I found out at the end, but we did charge it up and test it. It's fine. The screen's working and everything. So put the backing back on it. I've plugged everything back in, and there's a bunch of screws. Just plug in, or just put all the screws back in, and then we're going to glue the back on it. I think it's the only thing I don't show, but basically we just go around the edges with glue and retape the back on here. The back's got a small crack in it, but the customer didn't care about that. So put all these screws back in, And then I was going to test the screen, but this phone is dead. We did charge it up later, and it is fine. I always look at the frame to make sure there's no scratches or anything like that. Looks good. Still missing the SIM tray. They'll get that, I guess. But as you can see, the screen works, 0%. But another one bites the dust. And again, we don't just repair iPhones.